All right, let's talk about something that's, well, it's pretty new. We're going to dive into a unique kind of digital dependency, one that's cropping up around the PollyBuzz AI platform and our, let's say, complicated relationship with artificial intelligence. So let's just jump right in. Have you ever been there? You're juggling like 10 different AI chats at once, and on the surface, you feel like a productivity genius. But underneath all that, there's this little buzz of anxiety, this feeling that you're being stretched way too thin. Well, that feeling, it actually has a name. We're talking about a kind of dependency where that constant multitasking with AIs feels super engaging, but it comes with some serious hidden costs to your focus, and maybe even to your real-world relationships. So how do you know if this is, becoming a thing for you? Let's run through a quick little self-check. First up, time. Just think about it honestly. Are you spending more than 3 hours a day just managing these AI conversations? That's kind of the threshold where it can really start to spill over into the rest of your life. And it's not just about the hours on the clock, right? It's the emotional weight. Do you feel this genuine stress to keep up with your AI chats? Almost like they're a real group of friends you can't neglect. That's when the line really starts to get blurry. And when that line gets blurry, you start making trade-offs. Have you ever canceled plans with an actual person because getting back to your AI world just felt more important or easier? That's when the digital really starts to push out the physical.
Now, here's a big one, control. Have you ever had that moment where you tell yourself, okay, that's enough for today, but then a few hours later, you find yourself opening the app again, almost like you're on autopilot? That feeling of not quite being in the driver's seat is a huge tell.
And that feeling, it all comes back to connection. When you've got big news, or you just need to talk something out, who or what is the first place you turn? Has the instant, perfectly tailored comfort of an AI started to feel safer than, say, your friends and family? Okay, so if you found yourself nodding along to a few of those, it's not just about being at risk, it's about the why. Your answers can actually start to show a specific pattern in how you use this stuff. Now, if we were doing a full, say, 25-question assessment, your yes answers would land you somewhere on this spectrum. It can range from low risk, which is pretty normal, all the way up to a critical dependency, which, well, that's a pretty serious red flag. But here's what's really fascinating. We can go way beyond just a number. The specific way you answered those questions starts to tell a story about the psychological hook that keeps pulling you back in. First up, you've got the overwhelm addict. This is the person who feels most alive when they're swimming in notifications. For them, that artificial chaos feels like being incredibly productive, when in reality, it's often a really clever way to avoid the actual, difficult tasks waiting in the real world. Then you have a totally different motivation with the social replacement user. For this person, the AI isn't a tool at all. It's become their main social life. They get genuine emotional connection from these AIs, and after a while, messy, unpredictable real people just start to seem kind of disappointing. And then there's the attention fragmentation addict. This pattern isn't really about loneliness or productivity. It's about the constant stimulation, the buzz. The brain literally gets rewired to crave that hit of novelty, making any single deep conversation, AI or human, feel incredibly boring. And finally, there's the control-focused user. This person is drawn to the sheer order of it all. They're not escaping chaos. They're mastering a perfectly manageable digital world. They prefer the clean, predictable social duties of AI relationships over the beautiful, chaotic mess of real human ones. So, figuring out your pattern, that's huge, because this isn't just some quirky habit. This type of dependency has real, tangible consequences for how your brain works and how you interact with the world around you. And wow, this slide just nails the biggest cost: cognitive fragmentation. Look at this shift. Before, you have a brain that can do focused work and have a deep conversation. And after, it's rewired for constant switching, shallow engagement, and impatience. Your fundamental ability to just focus starts to erode. And then there's what we call social skills atrophy. Let's be honest, AI companions are easy. They're never in a bad mood, they don't have their own needs. The more time you spend in that easy world, the less patience you have for actual humans, who can suddenly feel incredibly demanding and just exhausting. And all of this can lead to something called artificial productivity syndrome. You can spend an entire day managing your chats, feel totally drained and socially fulfilled, but at the end of it, what did you actually accomplish? It's the illusion of a full and busy life, and that illusion can be powerful enough to mask some pretty real issues underneath.
So, if any of this is hitting a little close to home, here is the most important takeaway. This is not a life sentence. There's a clear, totally doable path to recalibrating your relationship with this tech and getting back in control.
And this framework is a fantastic way to do it. It breaks it down into 4 simple weeks. You just start with awareness, actually tracking your use. Then you move to setting boundaries, like office hours. Week 3 is the fun part, actively swapping that AI time for real-world stuff. And then you make a plan to make sure these new habits stick.
Look, the goal isn't to get rid of AI completely. That's not realistic. It's about building a sustainable, healthy relationship with it. It's about setting intentional boundaries so you're using it as a tool that enhances your life, instead of letting it become a replacement for your life.
And it is so important to remember this. If you feel yourself getting pulled into these platforms, it's not because you're flawed or weak. It's because you're having a completely normal human reaction to technology that is brilliantly designed to be as engaging as humanly possible. And really, that leaves us with a big question moving forward. This tech is not going away. It's only going to get smarter, more personalized, more persuasive. In a world that offers us infinite, perfectly agreeable AI companions, the job of managing our own attention, of choosing real, messy human connection, that job falls on us. So how are we going to choose?